Let's start with myth number 1 on the 10 myths of financial aid. Myth number 1, my child is 18 and of legal age. He or she can and should file for financial aid on his or her own. The reality is that students are usually considered a dependent until the age of 24. Another common myth, I cannot apply for financial aid if I have a valid Social Security number, but one or both of my parents do not. Here's the reality. Only students need a valid Social Security number. If you're considered a legal resident citizen of the United States or you are a registered alien with that number, you can and should apply for financial aid. Your parents can safely enter zeros if they do not have a Social Security number. Another myth, parents who are not U.S. citizens are legal residents. They will be reported if they provide their personal and financial information. Here's the reality. Parent data is never reported. However, you should be aware that the Department of Education does do a Social Security match just to make sure that the person is correct. So if your parent doesn't have a Social Security number, it's okay. Feel safe putting zeros, but make sure that you are honest. Number 4, if I have no contact with my parents and cannot provide their information, I will be unable to apply for financial aid. The reality is that you can still apply without parent information, but make sure you contact the financial aid offices of the schools you plan to attend immediately. They'll tell you what to do next. Myth number 5, if my parent refuses to provide their information, I can still apply for financial aid without parental information. This is different than not being able to contact your parent. The reality is if a parent refuses, the application will likely be considered rejected and you might not receive any federal student aid except for a loan. Another common myth, it is unsafe to provide private information to people I do not know, especially on the internet. The reality is that FAFSA on the web is a highly secured website. If you feel safe applying for financial aid, if you feel safe filling out your taxes online, this is equally as safe. Another myth, I or we make too much to qualify for financial aid. The reality is that there is no income cutoff to qualify for financial aid, so you should always apply. Don't assume. Another myth is my bad credit or default loans will hurt my child's chances for financial aid. The reality is that parents' debt or default loans are not considered on the FAFSA, which is the Federal Application for Free Student Aid, and is not required. And I want to repeat that it's actually the free application for federal student aid. I want to make sure that's correct. Myth number 9, if I'm eligible for the full amount of financial aid, I should be able to meet all educational costs. The reality is that financial aid rarely covers the total cost of education. It is meant to supplement the family's cost to the contribution to the cost of education for students. Let me make sure I repeat that. The reality is that financial aid does not cover the total cost of education. It is a supplement. And myth number 10, I cannot file a FAFSA for my child because I do not claim him or her on my tax return. The reality is that tax dependency is independent of FAFSA eligibility. If you are the parent, you should provide your household information on the financial aid forms. Now, we want to talk a little bit about preparing early for this process. As we said in myth number 9, it does not cover the total cost of education. So what can a parent and a student do to engage in this process early? We want to talk a little bit about knowing your financial aid profile and if you're fit for a college of your choice. What is a financial need analysis? Basically, it's a snapshot assessment of the cost of education for the school of choice that you want to attend and an estimate of the expected family contribution, your financial need and potential aid eligibility, and most importantly, an estimate of the net price or gap in aid, which means how much money you would still likely need to pay in order to attend that institution. To do this financial need analysis, there will be some student and parent financial information that's required. Why should you get an early needs assessment? Very important. Family needs to become familiar with the college costs, available aid, and potential family costs. An early EFC estimate to prepare a financial plan is really needed by the family to meet the cost of education. And it's important for you to know the federal and state funding eligibility that you may receive. All the more important, we want parents and students to be proactive in their college selection based on both an academic fit and a financial fit. Here are some websites and some resources that you can use, and they're tools for college cost and aid calculators, such as the Financial Aid Needs Estimator on the ACT website or the EFC calculator on What's Next Illinois. UIC website has a really good tool that can give you an estimate of what financial needs you may have and what eligibility you may receive based on your expected family contribution. And the FAFSA forecaster, which can be found at the FAFSA website. And there you are having that information. We want parents and students to be educated consumers. So please investigate your options. Be sure to ask each school, what is the percentage of need that they meet with financial aid? What is the school's ratio of grants and scholarships awarded versus work studies and loans? And you want to look for schools that are able to offer you more money that you don't have to pay back versus those that you have to help yourselves to. You want to ask, do they offer an early financial aid award estimate? You want to make sure that you choose the optimal post-secondary fit based on your academic admissibility. Can you get into school? And is it a good fit for you? Does it offer the career accessibility that you want? Whatever major you're going into, how strong is that school in helping to prepare you for that? And most importantly, when you found out that you get in and you fit in, can you afford it? Is it financially affordable for you? And that's why we're here today. We want to make sure that you make a wise choice as an investment. Determine if you can meet your gap in aid annually. Remember, whatever money you may owe in the first year, you likely owe the following years when you continue your education. So you want to make sure that you're choosing the right school and think about it as an investment. The school that you're attending, choose a major that makes sense for your potential debt versus your income outlook.